He woke before dawn, as he did every day at the ashram. In the darkness, he led a prayer meeting on a patch of ground overlooking the Sabarmati River. Then he was ready. Dressed in a long loincloth or dhoti with a shawl around his shoulders, he grasped a bamboo staff and started out the gate. He was leaving his home of 13 years, a community devoted to his precepts of plain living and high thinking. Mohandas Gandhi was not alone. As he stepped onto a dirt road on the outskirts of Ahmedabad, the largest city in his native state of Gujarat, 78 men, 2 abreast, clad in white, fell into a column behind him. Pressing in on the sides of the road, hanging from trees, leaning from windows, tens of thousands of people, supporters and curious alike, cried, "Gandhi ki jai!" Victory to Gandhi. The date was March the 12th, 1930. Gandhi and his troops walked for 25 days and 241 miles to the Arabian Sea to defy the unjust British law that prohibited the collection of salt in its colony. Master of the dramatic gesture, Gandhi bent over near the shore and scooped up a handful of salty mud. As illegal salt gathering spread across the country, arrests and beatings followed. Gandhi was jailed for almost 9 months. What authorities had dismissed as a minor act of political theatre swelled into a nationwide cry for independence. A broad array of India's population, high caste and low, male and female, Hindu and Muslim, for the first time joined in protest against British rule. Now the masses had a leader. From the day he began the Salt March until his death 18 years later, Gandhi infused India with a revolutionary blend of politics and spirituality. He called his action-based philosophy Satyagraha, or true force. Gandhi's impact was indelible. He guided India to independence. He forced his countrymen to question their deepest prejudices about caste and religion and violence. Hours after Gandhi's death from an assassin's bullets in 1948, just 5.5 months after the new nation was born, Jawaharlal Nehru, India's first Prime Minister, proclaimed that the light left behind by the father of the nation would shine 1,000 years. How bright does that light burn today? To find out, I decided to follow Gandhi. "See me, please," he said, "in the nakedness of my working, and in my limitations, you will then know me." I would travel his route on the Salt March. The talks he delivered and the articles he wrote speak to issues that still confront India today, and Indians still debate the legacy of the man known as Mahatma, or Great Soul. Prophet or holy fool, hero or villain, right path or dead end. No one questions Gandhi's incandescent influence on the world stage. His philosophy of non-violent resistance inspired Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, and the Dalai Lama. On home soil, the Gandhi effect is hazier. Gandhi is everywhere and nowhere. His bespectacled face looks out from the rupee note. There are Mahatma Gandhi streets in many cities, statues too. Politicians invoke his name like an endorsement. But the absence of Gandhi is just as evident. Gandhi envisioned an India of self-sufficient villages. Caste and religion would grow as faint as identity markers. Governance would stress equality and non-violence. Try finding that today. The huge chaotic cities, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, the materialist fever of swelling middle and upper classes, the election of Hindu nationalist Narendra Modi to lead the country, an arsenal of nuclear weapons, and endemic violence against women suggest a very different national identity. India is schizophrenic about Gandhi, seeing him as the source of all good or all evil, said Tridip Surad, director of the trust overseeing the ashram where Gandhi began his march. You can argue with him, you can embrace him, but if you want to make sense of India, you have to deal with the guy. Even during his lifetime, Gandhi proved a difficult mentor. He made uncompromising demands on family, friends, and political allies, holding them to exalted moral standards, strict beliefs about diet. He subsisted at various times on nuts, raw vegetables, and dried fruit, and sex. He took a vow of celibacy and heeded it for his last 42 years. Alienated the public then as now. Yet the roles he played, politician, social reformer, guru, journalist, peacemaker, educator, inventor, were so varied, like characters in an epic novel, that he offers something for everyone. On day one of the march, Gandhi made a sentimental stop 2 miles from his ashram. Already covered in dust stirred by the crowd, he paused before a school he had founded 10 years earlier as an alternative to British education. Today, a sandstone arch opens onto the leafy campus of Gujarat Vidyapith, its paths filled with students. They are dressed in loose shirts and pants made of khadi, the homemade cloth that became a symbol of Gandhi's revolution, standing for the rejection of British goods and the revival of traditional industry. It's safe to say that students on other campuses in India are not wearing khadi, which roughly means hand-woven, snubbing it as unstylish. Sudarshan Iyengar, a university trustee and noted economist, makes no excuses for the school's unfashionable rules and expectations. Here, we train students in heart, hand, and head in that order, he said, sitting on the floor wearing white khadi. Like Gandhi, we build character through communal life and work. Iyengar's Gandhian beliefs run so deep that he can't use his laptop computer without anguishing over the implications. I can see that Gandhi would have seen the computer as a tool to empower the individual, he told me. But what about the industrial process and the hidden costs that it took to produce? What would Gandhi do? It's the core question on this campus. Students I met spoke sincerely of Gandhi as a role model, but they didn't intend to follow him in lockstep. A young woman told me she was there only because her father loved Gandhi. For me, he's so-so, she said, as a teacher nearby lifted her eyebrows in disapproval. Who will wear khadi when you return home? I asked. Only a few raised their hands. Suddenly, a female student with a pink watchband approached me and exclaimed, "When I wear khadi, I feel like an extraordinary person." Our talk broke up at the sound of bells. It was spinning time. To prepare Indians for independence by inculcating discipline and self-reliance, Gandhi urged women and men, including the highest officials, to produce at least 25 metres of yarn a year, enough to meet one's needs. Every revolution of the wheel spins peace, goodwill, and love, he preached. Obeying the tradition, some 500 students filed into the auditorium carrying boxes with portable spinning wheels. Sitting cross-legged, they took out tufts of cotton and began spinning, their arms moving in and out, in and out. The only sound was the whisper of hundreds of spinning wheels speaking Gandhi's message. Gandhi was a fast walker, his pace remarkable for a 61-year-old man who was the oldest on the march and whose joints ached from rheumatism. Each day, averaging 10 to 12 miles in inescapable heat, the party stopped in settlements to pray, rest, eat, and allow their leader to speak before rapt audiences. Gandhi was the first national figure to connect with rural Indians. For him, the village was the soul of India. If Gandhi travelled to the same places today, he would see, probably to his dismay, that rural India remains in many ways stuck in time. In Vasana, a cotton farming village where the marchers halted under a mango tree that still stands, I found a statue of Gandhi with his walking stick. A drift of garbage had collected at its base. Cows and buffalo trod hypnotically on the dirt lane, followed by barefoot boys. Women in saris hurried past with firewood on their heads. As a crowd gathered around me, a man in jeans stepped forward to apologise for the unkempt memorial. I asked him if anyone wore khadi. Not anymore, he said. After a few more questions, the man lost his cool. People come here and talk about Gandhi, 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 but nothing is done for us. There is no development, he complained. We need a bridge over the river and a roof over the statue's head.